Hello, I'm Katie Sewell, and this is A Bittersweet Moment with Tiffany Parks.
Hello and welcome to The Bittersweet Life. I'm Tiffany Parks.
And I'm Aurelio.
And this is your midweek Bittersweet Moment.
Yep.
So I thought that since, we were recently in the States, and if you tuned in a couple weeks ago to the last mini episode that Aurelio and I did together, we talked about airline travel, how it's changed over the years, over the decades. And I thought that this week we could actually go a little bit broader and talk about from Aurelio's perspective, because you guys have all heard my perspective on this topic many a time. But I thought it might be interesting to get a kid's perspective, an international child's perspective on the differences between our two countries, Italy and the United States. So every time I go back to the States, I notice all these things that seem odd to me, from the color of the butter to what have you. We will talk about that with Katie in an upcoming episode. But Aurelio, what are the things that you notice when you go to the States that seem weird to you?
That the cars don't have the license plate in front of the car.
Oh, where do they have it?
And on the back of the car.
And they don't have
Arizona.
In Arizona. Yeah, I think it depends state to state. That's interesting. I would never have noticed that. In Italy, where do we have it?
On the front and the back.
Oh, interesting. Yes, you were pointing that out to me. You said, this car doesn't have a license plate. This car doesn't have a license plate. But in actuality, they just don't have them in the front.
Yeah, and I saw one that didn't have one in the front or in the back.
Oh, my gosh. He must have been a criminal. All right, what else?
Maybe most houses in America have pools.
Well, I would say a lot of houses in Arizona have pools.
Yeah.
Because in Arizona, it's super hot.
Not when you go bowling.
Not when you go bowling. I wouldn't say that most houses in America have pools, but a lot of the ones in Arizona and in other hot places do have pools. What else did you notice?
Let's see. Here in America, they're building a lot of buildings, and in Rome, they're not really building a lot of stuff.
What do you think that could be?
Because every time we pass the road to go home, we always see this construction.
You mean in America?
Yeah.
Yeah, that part of the country in Arizona, they're building a lot of new houses.
Why?
But I mean, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that they're building more buildings in America than they are in Italy? Can you think of a reason, maybe? Because Italy is smaller and there's not as much free space. You know what I mean? There's not as much leftover space. Plus, we've been here longer. People have been living for a longer time over here in Italy. And so we've got lots of houses. It's more populated for longer. If you were to go to Arizona 150 years ago, there would not have been a lot of people living there back then, whereas Rome would have been full. Are there any differences that you noticed in terms of food and grocery stores and things like that?
Okay. Grocery stores are huge in America. And here, they're not that big.
And you say that as a child who has a pretty large supermarket nearby for being Italy. Because we live out of the center, our supermarket is actually pretty big for Italy. But America's are even
bigger.
They are. They're huge. They are huge. And what about food? Can you tell me some differences in American food and Italian food? Or in the way Americans eat?
Italians eat one thing at a time, and Americans eat a whole bunch of things at once.
Which style of eating do you prefer?
Eating calamari.
Okay, besides what you like to eat, what do you prefer eating? One thing at a time? Your appetizer, your first course, your second course, or do you want to have everything on the plate at the same time and just dig in?
I want to have first course, second course.
You like to have it separate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like to have a mess on my plate.
Mm-hmm. But I will say one time you wanted to eat two things at once. I can't remember what it was. When we were in Italy one time.
Now?
I mean, it was maybe in the past
days?
year. No, it wasn't recently. Maybe in the past year you wanted your meat at the same time as you were having your pasta. And I was resisting this because I'm so entrenched now in the Italian way of eating that having meat while you're having pasta just seems crazy to me. And
Because you're American.
no, it seems crazy to me. I'm Italianized. And you
You're
said,
Italianized?
yeah,
That's
it means
bad.
it means that I've become like Italians.
I'm a Karenized. I'm Americanized.
Perhaps. But you said to me you wanted to eat your meat while you were having your pasta, and I said no. And you said, "Come on, Mom." You know what you said?
I'm an American boy.
Yeah, you said, "Come on, Mom, I'm an American boy." And lately you've been asking to drink something with dinner.
Yeah, milk.
Yeah, and I always say, "No, you can't have milk with dinner." And you say,
You
"Come on, Mom, I'm an American boy. I need to have my milk with dinner." Which is such an American thing. An Italian would be shocked and horrified to see someone drinking milk at dinner. Is there anything different about the American bathrooms?
Maybe the American bathrooms are bigger?
Well, yes. I mean, you're used to my mom's house, which is bigger than, our house. And so everything in her house is bigger than everything in our house, from the fridge to the TV. Of course, we don't have a TV, but everything in her house is just big. The kitchen is big.
The bed is big.
Her bed is huge.
And they can lift up.
Yeah, everything in Anna's house is fancy. But,
And our house, nothing's fancy.
oh, come on. It's not so
Yeah,
bad.
joking.
But what is something that we have in Italy
Yeah.
in our bathroom?
Oh, the bidet.
Uh-huh. The bidet. There's no bidet in America.
And I like it.
You like that there's no bidet, or you like the bidet?
Oh, I like that there's no bidet.
Really? Why?
Because I can wipe myself so many times with paper.
Okay. Just probably file that under TMI.
TMI.
I'll explain it to you later. Well, you know what's way bigger in America? I mean, way bigger.
Huh?
The washing machine. Remember? The
Oh
lavatrice?
my God.
It's huge. That thing is huge. That thing is absolutely huge compared to what we have in our houses. Because they have like a whole room for laundry, whereas we have to put it in our bathroom, our washing machine. And there's no dryer either.
Yep.
Now, what about, this might be a harder question, but are there any differences you noticed in how people, like let's say in a family situation, because you have grandparents in Italy and you have a relationship with them, and you have grandparents in America and you have relationships with them, and besides obviously the difference in the language that you speak to them, is there any other difference in the way you relate to your Italian grandparents versus your American grandparents? Do you feel like there's a difference in the way your grandparents in America treat you and your grandparents in Italy treat you, or how you are with them?
Nana treats me a tiny bit better than Nana.
Really? Probably because Nonna sees you all the time. She sees you 340 days a year probably, or it feels like that. She sees you a lot. So, and when Nana sees you, it's more of a special occasion. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us how Nana talks?
Hi, Is it you do?
She kind of does. She kind of goes, Aurelio. Hi, Aurelio. Come look at this. She has a very high voice, particularly when she talks to Aurelio. Anything else that you can think of that's different?
Can you tell them something?
Oh, they've heard my things. The food containers are way bigger. Like the milk, it's like a bucket.
Yeah.
It's like a bucket of milk. You're supposed to drink a bucket of milk. Or, 36 eggs in a package. What about what people do? The things that they do. Do you notice anything? He's whispering in my ear right now. What about, you said? Oh, that's a good one. How the people drive here versus in America. Well, since you were an expert on all things car and driving, what did you notice?
That here they drive like crazy, in America they drive well.
That is so true. They do drive crazy in Italy. Now, I don't know in other American cities, big crowded cities, if they drive crazy. But in Scottsdale, Arizona, there's not a lot of cars on the road, There are so many cars on the road in Italy that I don't know if that's the reason people drive so crazy. Do you think it's because there's so many cars, or do you think it's just an Italian thing? Like it's part of Italians and who they are to drive crazy?
I don't know.
Well, I think it could be a mystery for anyone to solve why Italians drive so crazy. But they do, as Katie and Derek discovered when they were traveling here earlier this year. And they had to drive in the crazy Italian cities.
Couldn't they use a taxi?
Well, they did probably use taxis too, but they had rented a car because they did a road trip across Europe. You can listen to that episode, The Hazards of a European Road Trip, I think was the title of the episode. All right, I think that the attention span of this 7-year-old has reached its limit, so we're going to sign off. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about, from a child's perspective, what the differences are between America and Italy. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Tiffany Parks.
And I'm Aurelio, driving crazy.
Join us again.
Bye.
Bye.
If you love the show, take a moment to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We love to read while you listen, and your rating might help someone else discover the show. Take just a couple of minutes to let the world know what you think of this show. It means the world to us. Thanks.